Hey, David Sabe here with Kids Athlete, helping parents raise athletes. And today we're talking about emotions, because if your kid plays sports, your kid's going to go through every emotion that you can think of. One of those emotions, the one I want to talk about today, is anger. Now, anger is a negative emotion. It's a destructive emotion. But the real question is that a bad thing? The answer? It depends. It depends on a couple things. What are you really destroying, right? Are you destroying, or is your kid destroying their self-esteem, their confidence, their happiness? Because if that's what's being destroyed, you definitely don't want your kid to be angry. Now, if your kid is angry and they're destroying their laziness, their excuses, they're being content of just being average, then great. Then you can use it, right? Now, you don't want your kid to be feeling their whole performance or sports career on anger. But if they're going to be angry, let's try to get them to move into more positive, using positive actions and more positive emotions. So, for example, your kid's playing sports and they don't perform well. They know they can do better, and now they're angry because they got beat in whatever they were doing. Well, use that to destroy those excuses, right? Use that anger to destroy the excuses. That way they can start to train either harder, smarter, recover better, right? They're going to start learning to eat better, right? Use that energy to get them to do positive things. From there, as parents, your job is really to just acknowledge really their moves in a positive direction. Yes, anger is a negative emotion. However, their actions still need to be positive, because what you're trying to do is get them from that negative emotion out into and using a positive emotion, right? So you don't want them to be stuck in an angry state. You want them to be in a more positive one. But if they are angry, again, I'm not trying to eliminate emotions. I'm just saying if they're angry, use that energy that destructive energy to destroy things like laziness or excuses. But make sure as a parent, you know why they're angry, what their ultimate goal is, as well as what they could be doing, right? As a positive step toward their goal. Now, in a previous video, I talked about goal setting. When you're going with goals, you want to picture your goals, right? Accomplishing something big, like winning the World Series or something like that, right? So let's say you've got this picture of you winning the World Series. Make sure they think of everything up to it, like a movie. And remember, every movie has good times and bad times, right? A movie that, like, let's say you've got a movie about an athlete who everything is just hunky-dory until he gets to the World Series and wins the game. It's not a very good story. You're going to come across obstacles. If your athlete knows that, remember, if they're prepared and they know that those obstacles are coming up, and mentally they know when they hit these times where they're angry or hit these times where they're like, hey, I'm not performing well, then they can take a look at it and think, this is just part of the story. Let's take this anger or this negative energy, use it in a positive way so that we can get out of it, get over the obstacle, and then move on it back onto a more positive emotion or energy so that we can continue on our path to the World Series or whatever sport or goal you have. And then from there, make sure that you acknowledge when they are taking those action steps and they're taking those positive steps, because that's going to help fuel them as well and get them out of that negative emotion and that anger and more into a more positive emotion. So again, hopefully that helps. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and I will see you on the next one.